Welcome to PsNiche Visuals, your home for public health, social welfare, and the pulse of the marine economy. Today we're asking a hard question. Is the garden city lost? From the health risk of indiscriminate disposal of all kinds of waste to socio-economic impact on our streets, we're diving deep into the Port Harcourt environment. To help us navigate this, we're joined by renowned public health practitioner Dr. Modestus Ajero and environmental advocate Mr. Nwokocha. Before we begin, hit the subscribe button and turn on the notification so you're always the first to get our updates. Let's get into it.
When rats grow, because they must always visit the refuse dump for food, so they multiply there and they breed there.
Because if your environment is dirty, you don't even know why you're suffering from certain illness, sickness.
Good afternoon, sir. Today we are diving into the unseen and unspoken world of environmental health in Rivers State. We will explore how unhealthy areas can hinder good health. I'm joined by Dr. Modestus Ajero, a public health practitioner and professional. Before we delve into it, we want to just take an overview. The culture of dumping refuse by the roadside is a major public health concern in Port Harcourt. The waste management system is overwhelmed, creating an environmental conducive to spread of diseases. Based on this intro, I want to ask you, sir, what do you have to say about diseases and the distribution method based on this public health issue that have been raised?
Before I answer that question, let's paint a background scenario for environmental health and public health. Human existence is interrelated, interwoven in a complex web of relationship with public health, with environmental health, with the environment. Now, right from the ancient times, the Greek philosopher and doctor Hippocrates had once established the relationship between the environment and human health. So he once, in about around the 4th or 5th century BC, Hippocrates himself had admonished doctors to examine, interrogate the environment when attempting to answer questions, health questions, and the health challenges of their patients. And so based on that, it has already been established that environmental factors affect human health a great deal. Therefore, the contamination or pollution of environmental media here involves the air, the food we eat, the soil, even sediments in the sea. The contamination of this environmental media constitutes those hazardous aspects of the environment relevant to public health. Now, human existence goes side by side with waste generation, and therefore it is very important that environmental management be taken very seriously in every human society. In Port Harcourt, for instance, it appears the management of the environment is not adequately taken care of. You see waste littered here and there, and that is, what do I call it now? It is an invitation to ill health. It's an invitation to the dangers associated with public health. So it's very, very important that adequate concern, adequate attention is given to waste generation and waste management. And we are not seeing that in Port Harcourt, and we're not seeing it in several towns and cities in Nigeria. The refuse. The problem of waste management begins with the political will by government, because it is the responsibility of government and of course the responsibility of the people to manage the waste generated in society. Now, a situation whereby waste is gathered and left there for days until scavengers come and scatter the whole thing all over the whole place, it creates a nauseating ambience for society. The optics is very, very poor for the environment. So the best approach, if you go to the Western world, central climes of this world, they do not pour waste on the streets like you see it in Port Harcourt and on the streets of other towns in Nigeria. Refuse is generated in the homes and collected from the homes. And if that is difficult because of our terrain, most of the roads are not paved. So it is very difficult for waste collectors to go deeper into the inner streets of the cities. I think that is what prompted the casting of refuse on the roads. Then government must expedite action in the sense that waste must be removed very quickly as soon as it is collected. If the waste must be removed by 6 a.m. or before 6 a.m. so that before daylight you don't find the refuse and the scavengers don't go there to scatter it. That is the best approach to waste disposal in our cities. For a situation where waste is allowed to linger for days and weeks and sometimes months, then that attracts scavengers who go there to quest for waste metals and other materials that they can get from the refuse dump, and in the process they scatter it all over the whole place and destroy the ambience of the environment, destroy the optics of the environment, and create the enabling space even for health issues to arise as a result of the waste disposed on the roads. When waste stagnates over a long period of time, there is a fluid that comes out from the base of the well waste. That is called leachate. That leachate contains potentially toxic elements, including the byproducts of pathogenic microorganisms, and these have potential health effects on human existence. So it's important that we look at environmental husbandry with a lot of seriousness and dispose of our waste on time, in real time, very promptly. Take it away from our spaces so that they don't destroy the beauty of our spaces, the beauty of our city, the ambience of our city, and take them to government approved dump sites in real time to avoid the spread of diseases. Oftentimes, dirty environments as a result of improper waste management leads to disease outbreaks.
So concerning the street of Port Harcourt and its environs, you see the indiscriminate waste are being dumped.
Yeah.
So that's why, as an environmentalist, just want to ask you, what do you believe are the root causes of the filth in Port Harcourt, and how can they be addressed?
So when you talk about causes, it's more of government and people issue. So we have a climate situation in Port Harcourt, in fact, the whole Niger Delta. And then the systems that work around it is also an issue. And when you talk about system, it's what government should come in and fix. And maybe so unfortunate I will say that, yeah, government are taking some steps, like having Rewama, for instance, as an agency in Rivers State, to manage our waste situations here. But I think there's a whole lot they need to do beyond that, and their capacity needs to be strengthened. So there's also a behavioral challenge as well. People dump waste where they like, and I know that in the past, government used to have positions where they keep some bins where you just go and put your dumps and all that. And how many people stick to that? I also know that there is a timing rule in River State by Rwama. I can't tell the time, so around, is it 6 p.m. to 10 p.m. or so is the time you go and dump your refuse, right? How many people stick to that time? And if you don't stick to the time, what is the agency doing to manage it, to ensure that people have that behavioral change to manage waste? So if these things are not put in place, it will be difficult. Then government also need to see that there is wealth in waste. So when people dump waste, how do we also make resources, revenue out of those wastes that are being dumped? What are the sourcing mechanisms? How do you segregate your waste? Some people put their nylon, everything, organic and inorganic foods, everything together, and no. But even if that is done for government, how do you now fine-tune? How do you segregate? How do you manage this so that you take the inorganic from the organic and then manage and then also make resources out of it? So I think there is a challenge of behavioral change where people need to have the culture to know that cleanliness is next to godliness. People need to adapt that culture, but government help people adapt to it. Government need to put some mechanisms in place to make that culture adaptable. That is not effective at the moment, and I think from that is that's why I say people go to gutter when it's raining heavy. They put things in the drainage and they block. And what do we see? We see flooding and other things that come out of it. So government need to check those things and have a proper channel. Then put the channel in strategic positions. So if you are in a place like 10 or how many meter distance, you can put a waste somewhere, and then in so hour is taking off. It's now people will put waste in the site assigned by government. Once that is done and it gets filled, they don't have any other place. They begin to put it on the street, on the major roads. Then it stays for days and weeks. So I think these are some of the challenges we are facing. So government also need to have more trucks. I know they might have some trucks, but they need to have more trucks. Have a PPP, partnership, private-public partnership to help them, because government cannot do it all alone. They need to work with industries, schools, put more awareness in schools, in the marketplace, and even home. So that there was a time in Port Harcourt, people there's this house to house clean up. They ring bell like Saturdays. Whether you bring your dead, they pick it up. Port Harcourt was clean, seen as a garden city. I think we need to go back to some of this culture and begin to make it work.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
You are so knowledgeable in this aspect, because in the course of your explanation, you answered the first question. You even went to the second question that says, what solutions will you propose? So you have already proposed solutions. But beyond the government putting mechanisms and making sure that behavioral changes are adapted, why do you think the individuals don't see need to do the right thing? Why is that?
Man works and nature. Sometimes they say, man, you need to force man to move or pedal to even do something. So I think that men needs to, if there is proper law and order, and then government enforce that, people will listen and act. So put a fine in place. If you throw this debt, you're going to pay so and so. And then you have ambassadors of, let me say, Clean River State as a team, ambassador of Clean River State. So they are monitoring team, walking around, looking at what people are doing, and moving on to manage those situations. So if you don't have a team in place to monitor when people are throwing those down, how do you manage and see that? Right? So there should be a team in place to manage some of those things.
Yeah, we run out. I remember I was
very ordinary.
That carry and run out. They'll stay there for like 5 minutes. When people around there will bring. That's true. So there is another aspect I want to ask you. From what we have seen from some of the works you've done, you've once upon a time acted like, initiated cleaning up Port Harcourt.
Yes.
So what prompted that initiative? Maybe that we can also learn from you.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you. That's a good question. And for me, it was just similar to what, like a concern about the environmental debt. I don't want to use the word dirtiness, but debt, because even River State, to a large extent, I know the environment is a bit dirty, but we also have a way of managing it. It's not as dirty as some states. There are some states you mentioned, they can color those states as a dirty state, but for River State, it's manageable. But River State used to be the cleanest, at least in the country. That was really a target garden city of Nigeria, and Port Harcourt has been. So we looked at it, everywhere was getting dirty, and then they stopped the cleanup. Saturdays that was normal cleanup, and government was looking at maybe how they can get more revenue. But what happens to the environment? They're shutting out an entire day or hours. It's not even days, like I think maybe 7 to 10 a.m. so that everybody come out, clean your gutters. So whether you like it or not, you will be forced to come out that particular Saturday to clean up your environment. Nobody's going to work on once you're done, and then you see the talk coming in together. So that is no longer happening. So everywhere is getting dirtier, and some of these stores they come, you still see environment is being littered, and it was getting so much. So, and for me, being in the environmental space, it becomes a concern for me. I say, okay, we can't wait for the government all the time to do. What do we do in our little space? So that was when that consciousness came up, and then with African Climate Neutrality Project, we got that done. We had to clean up, looked at the strategic areas that have a lot of debt. We went there and cleaned up. We even had to give some park stations, like if I should mention, then ROTC Park, right? This Reverse Joy Park. We had to give them some waste bin in there. This, give some people shovel to clean up your gutter. We went to a particular community around that D-line axis, some of those areas. We had to give them some of those things. We went to visit the school as well. We conscientized young students, children to become ambassadors of clean Port Harcourt. So they also had to see the need. We had to clean the environment with them, and then instituted like sort of environmental club in that school that you can keep this going without it. But we gave them materials, equipment to help them, clean up. Not just telling them, but we gave them those support to assist them. So, and picking from those points, again, those environment, the market, every Alakaya market we visited, we gave them. So that place become clean at that point in time, and then people begin to, okay, so in the market, it's okay, so days, we can do this on our own. So that can trigger other people to also pick from there and then become environmental conscious. So if we can even do it larger, I think we can get results, and then also it will get to the eyes of government to do better.
Okay, you in your explanation, you have been saying we. Who are these we you're talking about? So if I don't mention the companies or the organizations.
Okay, so we is Quest for Growth and Development Foundation, and then we have the African Climate Neutrality Project, which is more of an international NGO that partners with us to get this, done. These are private and non-charitable organizations that just want to support and see the environment get better, So yeah, that is the we. And then the other we is the masses, the people. We're always concerned about how we can even touch the lives of people first, and then we also see how we can engage government further. Sometimes they listen, and sometimes I hope they listen more so that we'll get results. But we can't wait for government all the time. We have to do what we can do at the grassroots level and then take it on there.
Okay, let me now go to the next question I want to ask concerning the organizations. If the government invites you now to come and partner with them concerning the waste management in River State, you and your NGO partners will be interested?
Very, very interested, because we want to see how we can make headway and make River State the garden city used to be even better, because things have modernized these days. So we want to give government ideas of what is even obtainable elsewhere. I don't want to mention some country, but there's this Rwanda is kind of triggering the whole African continent. When you say clean environment, people talk about Rwanda. What happens? So people can say, if not Nigerian, but Port Harcourt in Nigeria, how do we stand out? So we can pick some of those philosophy, what works, and then these are our African brothers and sisters. So if it works there, it can work. We're really open to government partnership and see how we can, put ideas together and make it work. We know that government have a stronger hold to, bring funds to support projects if they want to. So when we bring up the idea and then we roll it up with them, it will work, and so that once rivers is clean, it's clean for everybody, for the government and for us all. Yeah. So we're open to that.
Very much. Thank you so much for the lecture, or should I say, the enlightenment you've given us today concerning waste management and the importance of prompt waste management. Thank you, because you even went deeper to places that ordinarily we didn't see coming. But from what you have explained now, you even went further to explain to us that the government has this role to play, the citizens has their own role to play, that even the scavengers are also performing another aspect of waste management that is critical to waste management.
That's right.
So thank you very much. What that means now is that, in conclusion, what that means is that we all have a role to play to make sure that we have a healthy environment.
Exactly.
And also to create a better future for our children. Thank you, sir. We are grateful. We hope when next you come, your doors will be open for us.
You're welcome. You're welcome indeed.
Thank you so much. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Welcome indeed.
Thank you so much. This
You're
is
welcome.
Finish on it. Thank you.
God bless you.